I call upon Her Excellency Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to share her thoughts.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And, well, thanks again for convening this meeting. This initiative should not end here. It should continue through our officials, also our health experts. They can work together and they can continue the discussion how we can combat at present situation or the challenge of COVID-19 and other diseases. Let us not forget how we all are interconnected in today's world. Now, whole world is suffering, and the people. I think this is for the first time it happened. Because of this COVID-19, now people from everywhere, actually, the whole world become very much worried about it. So the initiative within us, the South Asian country, it is an excellent idea, and we should find out.
Here are the main developments with regards to coronavirus this Sunday morning. Mandatory quarantine laws are now in place, with all Australians arriving from overseas escorted to hotel rooms. The federal government is today announcing $1 billion for mental health and domestic violence services. National Cabinet meets this afternoon where further lockdown restrictions could be discussed after Victoria's Chief Health Officer speaks out.
Passengers on board stranded cruise ships off Western Australia are to be flown home, while West Australians are to go into quarantine on Rottnest Island. And Spain suffers its deadliest day in the pandemic with 832 deaths. And we have comprehensive coverage of the unfolding crisis with a team of reporters in key locations. First to 7 News reporter Samantha Brett, who is at Sydney Airport. Sam, good morning. The new mandatory quarantine measures, they're now being enforced?
They are, Mon and Matt, good morning. So these will affect the 3,200 passengers that are set to arrive this morning here at Sydney Airport. Now, in an unprecedented move, New South Wales Police has actually asked all family and friends not to come to the airport this morning. They're not allowed to greet the passengers, and they're certainly not allowed to take them home. Instead, these passengers will be screened. They will then be greeted by members of the police force as well as the Defence Force. They will be escorted to a number of buses that are waiting behind me. They will then be taken to one of 15 hotels around the city. That is where they will have to stay for the next 14 days in isolation. If anyone is caught breaking those isolation rules, they could face up to $1,000 in fines or even jail time. And this is because the government has announced that 2/3 of the cases right across Australia have actually come from people returning from overseas. We saw about 300 people actually return from overseas on a cruise ship a couple of days ago. They've been holed up in a hotel room in the city. They say those conditions are less than ideal, but we are certainly going to see scenes like this over the next few days, guys.
We certainly are. Thank you, Sam. Well, now to 7 News political reporter Olivia Leeming in Canberra. Olivia, a major boost to...
There are nearly 10 million Bangladeshis working abroad. Many of those Bangladeshis who scrambled to Dhaka from COVID-19 hit countries and elsewhere have not been subject to compulsory quarantine. Some are found roaming freely in their community and possibly spreading the virus. Shihab Sharkar is frustrated. It has been a week now. He is still unable to get a COVID-19 test done. Health professionals say they have seen a sudden spike in atypical pneumonia, where patients are coming with lung infections.
I've had a fever and serious congestion for a month now. I visited several clinics and they told me to come here for a coronavirus test. Doctors here examined me and gave me a few tests to be done outside, but they're the only ones who are supposed to do these tests.
Health experts say poor and limited testing rate may be masking the true number of coronavirus cases. The Institute of Epidemiology, Disease Control and Research Center is the only place in the entire country of 160 million people that has facilities to test COVID-19 virus. They have very limited number of kits. Health professionals and others are questioning government's readiness to prepare for a looming epidemic on the horizon. Top government health officials, however, say that till now the situation is under control and it has taken necessary measures to combat the deadly virus.
At the beginning of any outbreak, These has to be centralized, because you need to, whenever a case will be detected, you need to follow the case. You need to find out all the contacts, contain them, keep them in a quarantine in a supervised way. So that's why we cannot delegate this to anywhere.
Amid growing
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने मन की बात कार्यक्रम में कोविड-19 से उत्पन्न स्थिति पर साझा किए अपने विचार। कहा, कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई जीवन और मृत्यु के बीच की है लड़ाई। महामारी से निपटने के लिए लॉकडाउन को बताया एकमात्र विकल्प। प्रधानमंत्री ने कोरोना के खिलाफ जारी जंग में योद्धा की भूमिका निभा रही नर्सों और पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ से प्रेरणा लेने की कही बात। रोजमर्रा की आवश्यक वस्तुओं की आपूर्ति करने वाले लोगों को बताया असली हीरो। प्रधानमंत्री ने की सामाजिक दूरी बनाए रखने, लेकिन लॉकडाउन के दौरान मानवीय व भावनात्मक संबंधों को मजबूत करने की अपील। मुश्किल की घड़ी में गरीबों के प्रति संवेदनशील होने और उनकी मदद करने की कही बात। ईरान से 275 भारतीयों के जत्थे को राजस्थान के जोधपुर पहुंचाया गया। सभी नागरिकों को प्रारंभिक जांच के बाद सेना के वेलनेस सेंटर में रखा जाएगा। पीएम केयर्स फंड में योगदान के लिए प्रधानमंत्री के आह्वान पर राष्ट्र हुआ एकजुट। राष्ट्रपति ने किया फंड में 1 महीने का।
साथियों, याद कीजिए, महाभारत का युद्ध 18 दिन में जीता गया था। आज कोरोना के खिलाफ जो युद्ध पूरा देश लड़ रहा है, उसमें 21 दिन लगने वाले हैं। हमारा प्रयास है इसे 21 दिन में जीत लिया जाए। बिना किसी पूर्व सूचना के हमारे जीवन में आती रहती हैं, ये हम सब हिंदुस्तानियों का अनुभव है। ऐसे में, और वो तो मैं संकट के समय नहीं कहता हूं, सामान्य स्थिति में भी आती है। ऐसे में जब देश के सामने इतना बड़ा संकट हो, पूरे विश्व के सामने इतनी बड़ी चुनौती हो, तब मुश्किलें नहीं आएगी, सब कुछ अच्छे से होगा, ये कहना अपने साथ धोखा करने जैसा होगा। मैं मानता हूं कि ये सवाल बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि व्यवस्था ठीक है या नहीं, सब कुछ सही से हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा। लेकिन जरा पल भर सोचिए, इससे भी ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण सवाल ये है कि कोरोना जैसे संकट में हमें तकलीफें सहकर भी विजयी होना है या नहीं होना है। जो तकलीफें आज हम उठा रहे हैं, जो मुश्किल आज हो रही है, उसकी उम्र फिलहाल 21 दिन ही है। लेकिन अगर कोरोना का संकट समाप्त नहीं हुआ, इसका फैलना नहीं रुका, तो फिर ये संकट, ये तकलीफें, कितना ज्यादा नुकसान हो सकता है, इसका
लेटेस्ट अपडेट ऑन कोविड-19। अब तक हमारे 724 मामलों की पुष्टि हो चुकी है और इन सभी केसेस में प्रोटोकॉल के हिसाब से हम इलाज कर रहे हैं। अब तक टोटल जो डेथ रिपोर्ट हुई हैं वह 17 हैं और पिछले 24 घंटों के दौरान 75 नए मामले और 4 डेथ रिपोर्ट हुई हैं। कोविड से जितनी भी डेथ रिपोर्ट हुई हैं, उनमें मुख्य रूप से जितने पेशेंट थे उनको या तो मधुमेह या हार्ट डिजीज या हाइपरटेंशन के लक्षण भी थे। इन सभी मामलों में मुख्यतः हमारे एल्डरली पेशेंट थे, जिनमें दूसरी बीमारी के लक्षण जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया था वो भी थे। आप सबको अवगत है कि पिछले कुछ समय से सरकार इस स्थिति से निपटने के लिए बड़े प्रोएक्टिव और प्रिएम्प्टिव अप्रोच के तहत कार्य कर रही है। और प्रेजेंटली ये सुनिश्चित किया जा रहा है कि ट्रांसमिशन के इस प्रोसेस को तोड़ने के लिए हम सभी राज्यों के साथ मिलकर लॉकडाउन और सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को 100% इफेक्टिवली लागू करें। वेंटिलेटर्स की जो एक कमी स्टेट में, कंट्री में महसूस की गई थी, उसके हिसाब से उसको अपग्रेड करने के लिए हमारे एक पीएसयू को हमने 10,000 वेंटिलेटर की आपूर्ति करने के लिए आदेश जारी किए हैं। इसके साथ ही भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक लिमिटेड से भी 1 से 2 महीने के अंतर्गत 30,000 एडिशनल वेंटिलेटर खरीदने का अनुरोध किया गया है। जैसे कि आपको मालूम होगा कि भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड रक्षा मंत्रालय का एक सार्वजनिक क्षेत्र का उपक्रम है। सरकार देश में वेंटिलेटर्स की।
Welcome to the news hour. The death toll from the outbreak of coronavirus in Italy has surged by 919 in a single day. That is the highest daily increase recorded anywhere. Is this the peak in Italy, or is the worst yet to come?
We don't know if the worst is yet to come. Of course, this is the deadliest day in Italy since the beginning of the outbreak. 919 people died in the last 24 hours, the civil protection said. It is a massive increase after last week when the losses attested around between 600 and 750 daily. So the total toll now reached 9,134. The confirmed cases are around 6,000 today, bringing the total number of positive people over 86,000. Scientists and experts warn every day that these figures are not 100% accurate, especially for what concerns the positive cases, because in the hardest hit regions, there could be as many as 10 times more people affected. This is what the head of the civil protection keeps saying. So the Italian health service is under strain, and it's not possible to test more people. As we speak, the Italian President Sergio Mattarella is starting to address the country in a nationwide message. It's just the second time in 3 weeks he will speak to the population.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news at this hour. The U.S. is now headed toward a wartime footing in the fight against the pandemic. With hospitals overrun by sick patients tonight, President Trump is calling up reserve military units to join the effort to expand hospital capacity. And he is invoking the Defense Production Act for the first time, forcing General Motors to make urgently needed ventilators, just hours after he suggested the country had had enough of them. Later today, Congress passed and the president signed that $2 trillion relief law designed to help American business and workers who have lost their jobs. And as we come on the air, confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the U.S. now top 100,000. That's the most in the world. Nearly 1,500 Americans have died, an increase of more than 340 in just a day. Tonight, Miami is imposing an overnight curfew, and Utah, Montana, and North Carolina are issuing stay-at-home orders. That means that nearly half of all states are now telling Americans not to leave their homes. There's a lot to cover tonight, and we're going to begin tonight at the White House with Paula Reed. And Paula, that relief bill passed with bipartisan support, but you wouldn't know it from who was invited to the signing.
You certainly would not, because the president did not extend an invitation to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi or other Democrats. It's the latest snub in a long-running feud between the top Democrat and President Trump.
I've never signed anything with a T on it.
The president heralded the $2 trillion bill as a lifeline for the ailing economy.
This will deliver urgently needed relief to our nation's families, workers, and businesses.
The motion is adopted.
The House passed the bill earlier today with bipartisan support as lawmakers were seen social distancing on the House floor and wiping down microphones and.
Julia, tell us more about Putin's address.
Well, the real headline from Vladimir Putin's first address to the Russian people since the outbreak of the coronavirus began was that next week the entire country, apart from those working essential services, will effectively have a week of holiday. That was the measure that he announced in order to try to stem the spread of coronavirus in Russia. As you say, the number has now climbed above 600. Most of those cases are in Moscow, so the capital has seen more stringent measures. But now President Putin is giving the entire country of Russia a week off, and that will be paid by the government. But there are concerns here, of course, that if everybody has a week off, whereas social distancing is not being practiced very widely in Russia, and people have not been ordered to stay at home, although President Putin did say they should, that simply people won't go about, they'll just continue going about their lives otherwise. They'll continue to socialize, they'll continue to go to restaurants, and they could come into contact with one another even more often than they do when they are going to work. But of course, the idea is to stop the spread of people going on public transport in their offices. But President Putin also announced that referendum on constitutional amendments that was to be held in April will be pushed back indefinitely, and he said that was because they've come under a lot of pressure to postpone that, and it seems untenable now because of the spread of the virus. This is what President Putin had to say about that.
The absolute priority for us is the health, lives and safety of people. Therefore, I believe the voting must be postponed to a later date. Let us evaluate how the situation will develop in the regions and in the whole country. And only relying on professional opinion, recommendations of doctors, specialists, will decide on a new voting day.
Well, the government has been very reluctant to postpone this vote. It's a very crucial one for President Putin himself, because among the amendments that the Russian people are due to be voting on is one that would reset his presidential terms, and that would allow him to run for 2 more terms, another 12 years would see him ruling Russia until 2036.
So, Julia, how important are these decisions and any?
We're going to wrap up operations for the time being.
Another business shuts its doors.
We just decided not everyone was going to continue to be comfortable working in this situation.
While others struggle on.
I said to my team, I will pledge to pay you. I don't want you to have to go on unemployment insurance, so I will pay you.
But nearly all agree the government's initial offer to subsidize wages at 10% was not enough.
That's not going to cut it. It's not going to be significant enough for employers to be able to hang on to their workers to ride out the economic crisis that's coming alongside COVID-19.
It's becoming clear that we need to do more, much more. So we're bringing that percentage up to 75% for qualifying businesses.
It's an approach taken by many European countries. Canada's wage subsidy is somewhere in the middle of the pack, which runs from 60% in Germany to 90% in Sweden. Phyllis Bright's flag store in Edmonton is closed, but she decided to keep paying her 3 employees out of her own savings.
I have to admit, when I did my payroll on Wednesday, I was very depressed. When I heard it at 9 o'clock our time this morning, I was ecstatic.
This store was ordered to close on March 24th, and for its owners, the new change won't be enough.
When we got the announcement, unfortunately, we did lay off the staff. We had to choose to do that.
Today's announcement won't bring them back.
We are still looking at other measures that the government has promised, but the details are still TBD. I'm hoping that over the weekend we'll hear more, and that will change, hopefully, our stand.
Today's change has been widely welcomed. Wages are the biggest expense for most small businesses. Next week, though, many face another big challenge. Rent comes due. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.